Oh, 'di ba? So
23, that conversation started at APM Lead, a platform where industry leaders, innovators, and professionals come together to exchange ideas and shape the future of asset performance. Real challenges, real experiences, real solutions. Because the real power of a PM lead happens between the sessions, where ideas are exchanged and connections are built. A growing community of professionals shaping the future of asset performance. And the conversation is only getting stronger. Because the future doesn't belong to fragmented organizations. It belongs to those who align, integrate, and perform. Be part of the experience.
Hi again, everyone. Well, we're still waiting. Attendance check first. Can you please chat on our chat box your company, from which company you were from, and your name. Thank you.
On behalf of the organizing team, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to APM Lead 2026 Executive Summit with the theme Convergence, Aligning People, Processes, and Performance.
Ayan. So, dumadami na tayo. I see here we have Susan Agisanda from Metro Pacific Iloilo Water. Hi, Ma'am Susan. And we also have Sir Engineer Kevin from Asia Frabel Corporation. And we also have John Carlo Lee from Frabel. We also have Sir Ryan Robles from DMCI Power Corporation. Hi po sa inyo. Wow, ang daming mga taga Frabel. We also have John Wesley Gombok, Daveson Anuebo from LNGPH. And we also have MGen Thermal Energy Inc., TJ Lucio, Jefferson Reyes from LRMC. And we also have another one from Frabel, Lance Kevin. And we have Ryan Sabado from Vivant Energy Corporation. So there you have it. Hi again, everyone, and good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us early. And we're just going to, we're going to start now. So good day, everyone, and welcome to Association of Maintenance and Reliability Practitioners of the Philippines webinar. The AMRPP is a professional community dedicated to promoting excellence in asset management, maintenance, reliability, and integrity. Well, our vision is to lead the Philippines in advancing physical asset management, maintenance, equipment, and reliability, and asset integrity. And for our mission, is to promote knowledge, best practices, and collaborative engagement in physical asset management, maintenance, reliability, integrity, driving economic competitiveness, and shaping industry policies in the Philippines. So whether if you're an engineer, a planner, inspector, or enthusiast, we're here to learn together and support one another. So speaking of support, we would love to become, for you to become a member of AMRPP. So we do have different types of membership that we are offering. So we do have, speaking of, we have each membership open doors to exclusive resources, learning opportunities, and a network of like-minded professionals. So let's build this community together. Now, I wanna move forward with the main highlight. Welcome once again to AMRPP webinar. Our theme for today is Asset Management Fundamentals. And we truly appreciate your participation and interest in this important discussion around reliability, maintenance performance, and business transformation. I am Aina, and I will be your moderating I'll be moderating for today's discussion. So before we officially begin, just a few quick reminders. Please keep your microphones muted during the session, and also feel free to utilize our chat box throughout the webinar for your comments and questions. And also, we will have a time for a discussion and a Q&A near the end of the presentation. So today's session explores how effective and management directly influences profitability, operational stability, competitiveness, and long-term business successes. Across industries, organizations continue to face increasing pressure to improve performance while controlling costs and maximizing value from their physical assets. One of the clearest lessons from industry best practices is that organizations that adopt a strategic and disciplined approach to asset management consistently outperform those that rely on reactive decision making and short-term solutions. So, for this reason, today's discussion, we will explore what asset management really is and what is not. Second, the principles that guide successful organizations. Third, the role of value asset related decisions. Fourth, we will also discuss common misconceptions that influence how assets are managed. And last but not the least, how asset management provides a foundation for future discussions on reliability, maintenance, and digital transformation. So I know that everyone's very excited, and it is now my pleasure to finally introduce to you our today's speaker, none other than Mr. Adrian Ray Apas. So let's give him a virtual round of applause. Thank you. So Mr. Adrian Apas is founder of the general manager of Genexus Engineering Services, a company that provides engineering solutions, consultancy, and training services focused on maintenance, reliability, asset management, and operational excellence. He is a professional mechanical engineer and a CN engineer with internationally recognized certification that includes, he has actually extensive experience in certified maintenance and reliability professional, machinery lubrication engineer, certified asset management assessor 2, vibration analysis category 2, machine lubricant analysis 2, machinery lubrication technician 1, and reliability centered maintenance level 1. And not just that, he also holds a Master of Business Administration from the Asian Institute of Management. With over 14 years of experience, Adrian has developed extensive expertise in maintenance, strategy development, condition-based monitoring, lubrication management, reliability engineering, maintenance, planning, scheduling, and asset performance optimization across power generation, manufacturing, and other asset-intensive industries. Wow, that's a lot, Sir Adrian. And not just that, he is an active member of the American Society of Mechanism Engineers and serves as the ASME Technical Committee on Tribology. He also contributes to engineering education and industry development through consulting, training, advisory, and professional engagements. Now, let's give him a round of applause. Let's please all welcome Mr. Adrian Ray Apas. I'm going to give the floor to you, sir, now. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so welcome to our webinar series. This is on asset management fundamentals. I'm Adrian, and on behalf of the Association of Maintenance and Reliability Practitioners of the Philippines, or AMRPP, I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to join us today. So this webinar is part of AMRPP's series of webinars on asset management. Actually, this is the first. So if today's discussion sparks your interest, I encourage you to follow our LinkedIn and Facebook pages. Maybe MJ and Miss Aina can share the link to our Facebook and LinkedIn page. So you'll be updated on our upcoming webinars in the future. And the best part of this is that these webinars are completely free. So in AMRPP, we are a community of volunteers, practitioners, and we simply want to share our knowledge, our experience with anyone interested. Okay? Our goal here is to build awareness, promote good practices, and of course, help more organizations begin or strengthen their asset management journey. Okay. So, yeah, before we begin, I would like to set expectations for today's webinar. Most of us have probably heard of ISO 55000. Am I right, no? Just as we have ISO 9000 for quality management and ISO 14000 for environmental management, ISO 55000 is the primary international standard for asset management. So this standard, it consists of three closely related standards. Each of those serves a different purpose. So the first is ISO 55000. This standard introduces the concepts, the principles, terminology, and the overall framework of asset management. The second is 55001. So this is the requirement standard. It specifies naman what an organization must have in place if you want to establish an asset management system or if you want to pursue a certification. So that's 55001. 55002 is this one provides the practical guidance on how to apply those requirements and then implement an asset management system. So because we only have about an hour together today, we will just focus on ISO 55000, the overview. Okay? So first, we'll discuss about what asset management really is. And just as importantly, what it is not. Okay? We will explore the principles that guide organizations that are successful in managing their assets. A major part of our discussion will focus on the concept of value. Okay, we'll look at why value sits at the heart of asset management. And along the way, we'll challenge some of the common misconceptions surrounding asset management. And finally, just think of today's webinar as the starting point of maybe a much bigger journey. Okay? The concepts that we will discuss today will provide the foundation for more advanced topics in the future, such as reliability engineering, maintenance strategies, or maybe digital transformation. So with those expectations in place, let's begin by looking at today's industrial environment. Okay? Let's start with a question. How many of you have attended a presentation where someone said that AI or sensors or digitalization are the future of asset management? I think most of us, no, almost all of us have experienced this. If you have attended recently any maintenance and reliability conferences, you'll probably notice that everywhere you go, people are talking about this AI, this industrial Internet of Things, predictive maintenance, smart maintenance. No? And if you've visited their exhibition area, almost all of these vendors will tell you the same thing, that our technology is different and that it will solve your problems. No. Now, were they wrong for saying that? Mali ba sila? Absolutely not. Tama, no? These technologies are powerful and many of them can deliver tremendous value on your organization. But the question isn't, does the technology work? Hindi yun yung question. Companies have spent years, invested millions on developing this solution. So yes, those technologies, they work. But the real question is this: where do these technologies fit within your asset management system? Where do they fit? And how do they help you achieve better business outcomes? Why? Because technology itself, it doesn't create value. Can we agree on that? Technology amplifies whatever system already exists. Okay? If your management system is mature, then surely your technology can accelerate performance. But if the fundamentals are weak, or basically you have a non-existent asset management system, then your technology, it may simply automate broken process. Remember that word, automate broken processes. So what do I mean by that? Take some time, 5 to 10 seconds, and look at these three pictures, and just think of a story. Magaling naman tayong gumawa ng story. So just think of a story that connects these three pictures. Okay. So for me, when I put these three pictures together, they actually tell the entire story of what happens when an organization jumps into technology without first getting your asset fundamentals right. Okay. The first picture, well, it always starts with good intentions naman, no? We think maybe we need more sensors, maybe more dashboards, more predictive maintenance tools. So what we do is we invest in technology. We invest in the instrument and everything. Okay? With good intentions. Wala namang gumagawa noon with bad intentions. We always have good intentions. Now the second picture, this is now the result. Everything is connected, and now instead of the operations calling us in the middle of the night, we actually receive alerts on our iPad, on our phones at midnight. And then we say, wait, wasn't this supposed to make our life easier? So bakit same pa din yung nangyayari? Why am I waking up in the middle of the night still? No? Because we've only automated the data collection. We haven't really improved the systems that turns those alerts into actions to prevent failure. Okay? And the third picture, this I think delivers the punchline of the condition monitoring system almost talking to you, saying, don't blame me. I did my job. I found the problem, but I don't solve the problem. And honestly, that's true for most of us. If you have a sensor, the sensor will do its job. AI will do its job. But the problem is that finding a defect and fixing it are two completely different things. So what's the problem here? Bakit nag-aaway sina Spider-Man? No. Anong problema nila? Oh, maybe nobody reviewed the alarm. Maybe there was no defined response process. Maybe operations couldn't release the equipment. Maybe maintenance didn't have the resources. Or maybe nobody was really accountable for making the decision. So, despite having all this technology, your equipment will still fail because technology cannot tell us, it cannot create accountability. It can tell us if the equipment is deteriorating, but it cannot create accountability. It cannot build a good process. Those are asset management responsibilities. Okay? So, in other words, technology may answer the question, what is happening? But your asset management answers the more important questions. What do we do about it? Who does it? And how does it create value? Because if we don't have those fundamentals in place, we will simply move through these three pictures. First, we will add the technology, and then we will get more alarm. And finally, we have better data, but we have exactly the same failures. So that's not digital transformation. No, that's just automating broken processes or what we call digitalizing inefficiency. No? And this is why asset management is important. Because asset management is not about installing sensors or buying software. No, those are just simply tools. At its core, asset management is about making sure our assets deliver value to the organization. This word value is very important. Okay? And to do that, we have to ask some very fundamental questions like, why is this asset important? What value, again, value does it provide? What risk could prevent it from delivering that value? And if a risk is detected, what decisions need to be made? Or who is responsible for making those decisions? And do we have processes in place to act on that information? Now, I want to focus on this word value because we'll be discussing more of this later. At the end of the day, asset management is all about ensuring that our assets deliver value to the organization. But before we can talk about value, first we need to agree on what we mean by when we say asset or asset management. Why? Because if I ask 10 people here in this webinar from different background, what is your definition of an asset? Or what is your definition of an asset management? Then there's a good chance na I'll get 10 different, slightly different answers. No? Some will think only of equipment. Others may answer in terms of maintenance activities or software systems or even financial assets. But you're all correct, no? But we're all using different definitions, then we will have difficult time understanding each other. And that's exactly why standards exist. So they provide us with a common language. So rather than relying on your own interpretations, let us use the internationally recognized standard for asset management, which is the ISO 55000. So according to this standard, asset is anything that has actual or potential value to an organization. And it doesn't have to be physical. It can also be something non-physical. What is an example of a non-physical asset? Well, your company's reputation. It's intangible, but that is an asset. So what do we mean when we say potential? No, asset is not just about realized value or actual value. Even those na you think has a potential value can be recognized as an asset. For example, tayo, when we had our first job, no, we don't have any experience yet, but bakit tayo na-hire ng mga companies? It's because based on our credentials, nakitaan tayo ng potential value. So it doesn't have to be an actual or realized value right away. If 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 you see something potential on that equipment or on that person, then it can be recognized as an asset. Okay. Don't forget, this is ISO 55,000 definition. This is not my definition. Okay. So asset management naman is the coordinated activity of an organization. Coordinated means every group or everyone working together toward the same goal. Okay. And when we say activity here, it is broader. It's not just execution. It includes planning, your decision making, your performance review. So all those are referred to as activity. And the last is the definition of value, which is very important for this webinar because we will be explaining or we will be on this word a lot. Okay. So sabi ni ISO 55,000, value is this one, results of satisfying needs and expectations. Actually, yun lang yung definition niya eh. And no, I'm not even making this up, but if you go to the document itself, section 3.3.28, yan lang talaga yung definition ng word na value. Okay? So, satisfying ba yung definition? Or na-meet ba yung expectation natin? Probably not. It seems a bit generic, maybe even a little boring, but it's because the importance of the word value in asset management is not really in ISO 55,000's definition. The real power of that concept lies on how your organization defines value. Because the word value is different for every organization. For one company, value may mean maximizing profit. For another, it could be about customer satisfaction, or maybe safety, or maybe environmental compliance, or a combination of all these factors. So ISO 55,000 will not tell you what your value should be. Instead, the standard reminds us that value is determined by the organization and your stakeholders. Okay? So once you've defined what value means for your organization, what happens is everything else in asset management, they start to make sense. What do I mean by that? Your asset decisions, your maintenance strategies, your investments, even your digital transformation initiatives should all be aligned toward delivering that value. That's why it's so important. Now, so we have established that the purpose pala of asset management is to realize value from asset. But naturally, it leads to another question. If that's the goal, then what do organizations actually need to do to make it happen? Paano yung gagawin natin? Where do we start? That's where the fundamental principles of asset management come in. We have 4 fundamental principles. So they provide the foundation that guides every decision, every investment, every action we take throughout the asset life cycle. So from ISO 55000, asset management is built around 4 key principles: value, alignment, leadership, and assurance. Okay? So let's start with first and arguably the most important principle of asset management. Again, the word value. Okay? So ask yourself this: what makes an asset an asset? No. Uh, what makes that equipment an asset? Okay? Let's use something we're very familiar: an air conditioner. Okay? So imagine this family on the left. It's hot here in the Philippines. Imagine it's summer and they're uncomfortable. Maybe they're sweating. They wish they had air conditioner. No, for them, the air conditioner provides comfort. Okay, comfort. That's the value that it creates. But it's also something that we can live without. 'Di ba? Nabubuhay naman tayo ng walang aircon. Mainit nga lang. And but still we can sleep at night, we can go on with our lives. Now, if you take a look at this picture below, this is a data center or a server room. So now what happens if that air conditioner stops working here, or if there is no air conditioning here? Now it's no longer just about people feeling uncomfortable. When servers begin to overheat, critical IT systems may shut down, business operations can stop, and millions could be lost. Because websites, our banking system, our cloud services, they become unavailable. And that is the same air conditioner, but now it's creating a completely different kind of value. So nag-gets na yung difference. It now enables business continuity. In this picture, that air conditioner is just for comfort. This one naman, it's used to enable business continuity. So there's a difference. Now, let's move to Europe. So for many years, air conditioning wasn't really considered essential in many parts of Europe, because the climate there was, it's generally mild. No, but during this recent historic heat waves, we hear it in the news every day. Actually, we were there last month, me and my wife, when the first wave of these heat waves started. Yung first wave talaga. So from someone in the Philippines na alam natin kung ano yung init, it's really different there. No, iba yung intensity ng heat. And we have European friends, they're saying na, no, we will melt, we will die if this continue. And we just laugh it off. But they were really serious. No, there were several deaths na recorded due to heat waves, and people are going to rivers to cool off, and may mga nalulunod and things like that. Okay? So suddenly, in this one, the air conditioning wasn't simply about comfort anymore. It became essential for them. Again, the air conditioner, the asset or the equipment didn't change. Even the technology, it's just the same. What changed was the value the people or the organizations placed on it. Okay? What changed was the value the people or the organization placed on it. And that is one of the biggest lessons in asset management. Because an asset is not an asset simply because it is a piece of equipment. No. It's an asset because it provides value to an organization. And that value is not defined by ISO. It isn't defined by your OEM. No? The organization defines the value based on your objectives and the needs and expectations of your stakeholders. Okay? That's why the same air conditioner here, it can represent comfort in one situation, business continuity in another, and even the protection of human life in another. So the question that we should ask is, what value does this equipment create for our organization? Because once we understand the value, we can make better decisions now, no, on how we manage our assets. Okay? So, yeah, something equally important then is that value is not static. We should not treat assets as permanent. No? Once tayo kasi, once an asset is classified as important, we might assume that it will always remain important. But that's now how the real world works. Ba? Even as I can be an asset now, next year I don't know if I'm an asset, if I'm still an asset. It depends. Why? Because your organizations change, your business strategies change, the market changes a lot. No, there are technology advances, and even the expectations of your stakeholders, they change over time. And when those things change, the value that we expect from our assets naturally also changes. That's the sad part, but that's just how business goes. Yeah, that's why asset management, it takes a life cycle approach. We don't just think about the asset when we buy it or when it breaks down. No, we think about the value it should deliver from the moment it's designed, throughout the acquisition, the operation, the maintenance, the repair or renewal, and eventually the disposal of the asset. So this one, at every stage of that life cycle of your asset, we should be asking the same question. The same question. Is this asset still delivering the value our organization needs today? Kung ang asset natin is still delivering yung value na kailangan natin for our organizations today, at present. Because as I've said, your organizations will change. The markets will change. Technology changes. So at every stage of your life cycle, you should be asking, asset pa ba to? Or is this delivering the same value? No? Because asset management isn't about preserving assets forever. It never was, and it never will. Okay? It's about continually ensuring that our assets continue to create value even if our organization or the world around us change. No? I'll repeat, it's about continually ensuring that our assets continue to create value even if your organization or the world changes. That is asset management. It's not about preserving them or your equipment forever. Okay? So next is, yeah, I know I mentioned earlier, no, that every organization defines value differently based on its objectives or stakeholders, and that's true. But I'd like to share just one practical approach that organizations can use to establish a simple yet effective decision making process, especially if you're still starting, if you're still planning on starting your asset management system. I think this will help. So instead of debating every asset decision from scratch, you can actually evaluate it through four key considerations: cost, risk, opportunity, and performance. So it's not the only way to define a value, but it's a straightforward uh, way for those who are just starting their asset management. So first, can we reduce the cost? No, this isn't about spending less. It's about optimizing life cycle cost while still meeting business objectives. Second is, can we minimize risk? Your risk may involve safety, environmental impact, regulatory compliance, production losses, or reputational damage. Okay. Third is, are there opportunities to create additional value? Can we improve energy efficiency? Or can we increase reliability or extend asset life? Maybe we can introduce better technology. And finally, can we enhance its performance? Because ultimately, your assets exist to perform a function, di ba? So if they cannot reliably deliver that function, then they cannot continue delivering value. Okay? So this is just a simple decision-making process for those who want to start asset management system. Now, imagine if your organization has already defined the value. Tapos na tayo sa first step. We already completed the first fundamental principle. You define the value, but is it enough? Is it enough that you already have defined the value? What's next? Okay. So if we look at this picture and we see these three departments, our maintenance guys, they are focused on maintenance jobs, reducing maintenance costs. Our operations, they're under pressure to maximize production. And we have here a procurement group, which they reward the purchasing group because they award it to the lowest equipment. No? They're getting rewarded for that. That's their job. No? And my question is, are these bad objectives for maintenance, operations, and procurement? Not at all. No? In fact, each department, if you look at it individually, each department is doing exactly what it has been asked to do. Individually, these departments believe it is making the right decision. So if you look at your company, your maintenance is doing this, your operation is doing this, your procurement is doing this. But if they're doing the right decision per department, why do our organizations still struggle with poor reliability, recurring failures, no, or increasing lifestyle costs? If they're doing their job and they're doing it the right way, why do we have problems? And the answer is because each department is just optimizing its own objective rather than the organization's objective. Okay? I repeat, because the problem here is each department is optimizing its own objective instead of the organization's objective. And this is one of the biggest challenge that the organizations face. And that brings us to the second fundamental principle of asset management, which is alignment. Okay? So alignment, it starts at the top of the organization. And every organization, you have your own strategic objectives. So depending on the business, it may include increasing profitability, improving customer satisfaction, achieving sustainability goals, expanding production. No? This answers a very simple question of where does the organization want to go? So for example, if you're in a power generation company, you have this is your strategic objective, no? Provide reliable electricity while achieving safe operations and sustainable profitability. Okay, so you have your organizational objective. Now, everything that follows in asset management should contribute to achieving those objectives. Okay, so once the organization knows where it wants to go, the next step now is asking how our assets help to get us there. Okay, and this is where asset management objectives go. This is where they come in. No? These objectives translate business goals into measurable asset-related outcomes, like improve equipment reliability, or maybe reduce life cycle cost, or minimize operational risk. No? And notice that these are no longer broad business goals, but specific objectives na siya. No, they're focused on managing assets in a way that supports the organization's strategy. Okay, so now that we've identified our assets need to achieve, we also need to determine how we're going to make it happen. Okay, so that's where asset management policy, strategy, plans come into play. The policy is the organization's commitment. It answers the question of how will we, what do we believe in? Okay, the strategy explains how the organization intends to achieve its asset management objectives. No, how will we get there? Example is if you have RCM or digitalization or life cycle management. Okay, and finally, the plans that convert this strategy into day-to-day execution. No? Who will do what, when, and with what resources? So they define the activities, the budget, responsibilities. Excuse me. Okay. So if we put everything together, the organization first defines where it wants to go. Okay. And then how these assets can help us to get where we want to go. And finally, those objectives are translated into policies, strategies, and plans. Siguro to better appreciate it, it's like when you're planning a road trip, no? Your destination is your organizational objectives. The route you will choose is your asset management objectives, no? And your navigation, your fuel stops, your budget, your whole itinerary represents your management policy, strategy, and plans. Okay, so without a destination, there's no direction. Without a route, you don't know how to get there, and without a plan, well, you'll probably never arrive. Okay, so alignment ensures that there is a clear line of sight from the organization's strategic goal all the way to your daily decisions, no, that the people in your organization make. Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds also to look at this picture. Uh, just take a look at this and ano lang, just in your mind lang if what this means. Okay. So the question here is, which department has the biggest influence on asset management? Is it maintenance? Is it operations? Or maybe you've also come up with with this question in your organization. Sino yung may biggest influence on asset management out of all these departments? The answer is all of them. Okay, and this is also one of the biggest misconceptions about asset management. No, it belongs to just one department, when in reality, asset management is organization-wide responsibility. So every function that influences the performance, the cost, the life cycle of an asset contributes to also realizing that value. So that means everyone should work toward the same organizational objectives. Okay. So if you're in operations, how you run your equipment has a direct impact on your reliability, on your asset life, and your business performance. If you're in maintenance, then your job is to preserve the health of the asset. If you're from finance, then you need to balance financial sustainability. Okay. So every department has a different responsibility. But if you're in the operations, you're not trying to become a maintenance. No, you're not trying to do maintenance job. If you're in finance, you won't be trying to become engineering. No, so each function contributes differently, but they are all supporting the same organizational objectives and the same definition of value. That right there is alignment. Okay, we may have different responsibilities, but we should be supporting the same organizational objectives. That's why if we don't know what our objectives are and we don't know the definition of our value, we try to optimize our own department. No, that's not alignment. Okay? So now that we've talked about alignment, the next question is who is responsible for creating that alignment? Yan. Sino ba? Does it happen automatically? No, unfortunately, hindi. Even if you have all the talented people, you have a well-defined process, you have advanced technology, but if no one is really providing the direction or allocating you with resources, then that alignment quickly disappears. And that brings us to the third fundamental principle of asset management, which is leadership. Okay. And the first responsibility of leadership is to provide direction. Okay. Top management. They should establish the asset management policy and the management objectives and ensure that they support yung mga strategic objectives natin. So in simple terms, your organization should communicate to every employees what are we trying to achieve, and why does it they call it town hall meeting or general assembly. It is just a way to explain to the employees saan ba tayo papunta, no? And bakit tayo pupunta doon. So that's the first responsibility. Next, it is that leadership should enable the organization. No? Our leadership should define responsibilities. They should develop competencies. They should ensure that we have the right people, the right technology, and of course, we have the financial resources. Because if you think about it, can we really expect a world-class asset management if your people aren't trained, or if responsibilities are unclear, or if your budgets are not available? No? Probably not. And last is leadership connects the organization. Earlier, we discussed about alignment. No? Operations, maintenance, engineering, finance all have different priorities. Leadership's role is to remove those barriers, resolve conflicts, and ensure na different priorities support one common goal. So without leadership, well, the departments naturally optimize their own goals. Or like we said, Karina. Okay, so example is, I want you to look at this picture, and reflect on it. Tell me if this happened in your organization recently or a few years ago, because this is what normally happens to those organizations who has no mature asset management system, or if you're just beginning on your journey for asset management. Okay, so imagine you have a maintenance request for emergency replacement of critical equipment, and then your finance blocks it, saying na, well, it's not programmed, or it costs too much. Your operations, on the other hand, they continue running the equipment because they're focused on making sure the facility is running. Your engineering, well, they agree with maintenance, but your procurement takes the finance side. Okay, I know we've been there, no? What's that thing that procurement tells to maintenance na a lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency of mine. It's a very common thing or phrase that we hear from them. But if you look at this picture and I ask you, who is right? No? Sino yung tama dito? Well, they are all right. Like I said, if you look at it individually, each department is just doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Your finance protects the organization's financial health. Your maintenance protects the asset reliability. No? Your procurement, it protects your purchasing policies. So there is conflict, but the conflict isn't because people are making bad decisions. No. The conflict exists because every department is looking at the problem from a different perspective. And when it happens and we have no leadership, who resolves the conflict? Yeah. That's why we need leaders. Because leaders, they resolve the conflict not by choosing sides. They resolve it by making a decision that best supports the organization's definition of value. Again, we need to know what is the definition of our value because our decisions will be based on that. It's not because si leader is mas malapit sa operations or mas malapit sa finance. It's not that. The leaders resolve conflict not by choosing sides, but by making a decision na best for the company. Okay? So imagine if leaders are absent or disengaged. Even if you have the best maintenance strategies, you have the best technologies, it's they're unlikely to deliver sustainable results. No? Now, if leadership now has defined direction, you already have aligned organization, you have all the resources, no, all the money in the world. Let's just pretend this happened. You've already defined your value. Everyone is aligned. Your leaders are very supportive. So the next question now is, how do we know if our asset management system is effective? Or how do we know if it's actually working? Okay? And that's what the fourth fundamental of asset management is. Assurance. Some organizations kasi, this is what happens. Okay ka na sa value mo. You're already aligned. Your leaders are very supportive. Now, the mistake that they do is that they stop after implementation. Why? Because they assume that because they have a policy, they have a strategy, they have a good program in place, everything must be working as expected. No? But asset management, no, it doesn't rely on assumptions. It relies on evidence. No? And that's exactly what assurance is all about. Assurance gives us the confidence that, one, we are measuring what matters. Are our assets becoming more reliable? Is our equipment availability improving? Have our maintenance costs been optimized? Or are we reducing unplanned downtime? Now, these are just maintenance metrics. No, they're indicators of whether we are truly delivering the value that we defined at the beginning of our asset management journey. Okay, next is, are we doing what we planned? And we can check it through audits, through reviews, through compliance checks. Okay, and then are we making informed decisions? Of course, none of this is possible without a reliable information. No, good decisions depend on good data. So if our asset information is incomplete or inaccurate or outdated, no, even the best leaders and engineers can make poor decisions. That's why data quality is just as important as data quantity. And lastly, are we continuously improving? Because assurance is about creating a culture of continuous improvement. Every inspection, every audit, every failure investigation, every performance review, it is an opportunity for us to learn. Now, the objective isn't to prove to our top management that our asset management system is perfect because no system is perfect. Okay. The objective here is to continually improve so that, and it's very important, it keeps delivering greater value even if the organization evolves. Because we cannot stop evolution, it will involve technology, your stakeholders, they change. So what we do is we have to continually improve so that it keeps delivering the same value. If you look at your if you look at your coworkers, if we stop continuous improvement, we stop learning, we stop improving, and then technology advances, there will be a time na we will become obsolete. No? So we have to continually improve every asset, not just us, but also our equipment, our processes, all of that. Okay? So let's go back to where we started this session. We talk about the industrial world today, a world full of AI, Internet of Things, predictive maintenance, and many other emerging technologies. Now, these innovations, as we said, no, this is exciting, but we also have to ask on where do these technologies fit? No, because as we've said, technology alone does not create value. The real goal of asset management is to help the organization realize value from its assets. And today, we've seen that this can be achieved when four fundamental principles work together. Okay? And these four principles, they're not independent. They reinforce one another. Value tells us what we are trying to achieve. Alignment ensures everyone is moving in the same direction. Leadership, well, leadership makes it happen. And assurance, it tells us whether we're succeeding. Okay? So if there's one message that I hope you remember after today's webinar, it's this. Asset management is not about managing assets. It's about managing the value that assets deliver to the organization. Okay? So whether you're an operator, a maintenance engineer, a procurement officer, no, or a member of the top management, know that every decision you make influences that value. No? And this is very important then, you don't have to wait for ISO 55,000 certification, no. Or you don't have to wait for a large budget to begin. Using what we discussed, you can actually start even tomorrow. If you want to start your asset management system tomorrow, you can. Sakto yun, Saturday, overtime. Mas malaki bayad. No? What I'm saying is, don't don't make money or budget or certification a hindrance for you to start your asset management system. Okay? This is enough. You can start. No? You can start small, not necessarily dapat matapos lahat ng equipment. No. No? Yeah, and that's my last slide. So thank you very much, and that ends my presentation.
Thank you so much, Sir Adrian. How's everyone doing? Are we learning? Okay, so thank you for the insightful presentation. And one of the key takeaways from today's session is that effective asset management is not simply about maintaining equipment. It is about maximizing value from assets through strategic planning, informed decision making, and a disciplined approach to reliability and performance. Now, we will move into our Q&A session. All right. So let me just check here our Q&A. Okay. Let me just check the chat box. Please kindly type your questions so we can address them in our chat box. Thank you. Okay, so I have a question here, Sir Adrian. Let me read first from the chat box. This is from Ralde Deodor. Is there a formula to resolve the conflict?
No, no, sorry. That's why leadership is important because conflicts will happen. It happened. It may have happened today, last week, but uh, conflict in a company is normal. Um, Especially if you're in different departments. Like I said, no, common talaga yun. Maintenance can have conflict with procurement. They can have conflict with operations. They can even have conflict within their department. There, the formula, if there is a good leadership. No? To, parang siya yung captain ng ship nyo. Whenever there are things that needs to be discussed, like I said, every department has its own job. And if you're doing your job right, and then other department will tell you, no, you're wrong, syempre, you will be offended. So that's why leadership is important because they resolve this conflict. They will remind you now, wait, both of you are right. No, but let's just base our decision on what is our goal. No, the leaders are there to always remind you na ito yung direction natin. No? Sometimes kasi we forget and then we do our job every day as we're supposed to do. We forget na we have a common goal. That's why companies they do quarterly town hall meetings or general assemblies to remind us na, oy, baka nakakalimutan nyo, this is our goal. No, this is our say ito yung direction natin. So every decisions that the leaders will make to resolve conflict is based on what are our organization's objectives.
I agree, Sir Adrian. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for answering that question. I will read another one in here. This is from Cesar Perez. What is the difference between asset management and asset integrity management?
Yeah. Well, we already discussed about asset management in terms of its definition on ISO 55000. Now, like I said, if we don't have a common standard, then iba-iba yung definition natin of asset management or what is asset integrity management. Now, when we say asset integrity management, if we want to be really technical about it, it's a systematic practice. Uh, Systematic practice to ensure that our industrial assets, like our power plants or refineries or whatever, they perform their function effectively and safely throughout their entire life cycle. So that's what asset integrity management means. And for asset management, well, we already defined also that in terms of ISO 55000. So what was that? A coordinated activity. So it's kind of broad. But when you say asset integrity management, it's about the life cycle, the life throughout the entire life cycle of the equipment, making sure that they perform their function. So maybe if you combine predictive maintenance or risk-based inspection or regulatory compliance to prevent unexpected failure, so it could it's that it's more specific than the asset management definition based on, again, our standards.
Thank you, Sir Adrian. So I think we can still cater one more question from the chat box. So this is from Christian Ace Martinez. What operational or maintenance data do you wish engineers consistently recorded to improve future asset management decisions?
Hmm, what ano yun? What operational or maintenance data? It depends. For me, it depends on the type of organization. One siguro is asset condition data like vibration, oil analysis result, thermography. Uh, this data allows us to move from time-based to condition, also condition-based. So I think it's different from different industries or different companies. Like I've said, asset condition data is important. Operational data, how was the asset being operated? No, if it fails, why did it fail? If it say if it's overloaded, why? No, what was it operating outside its design limits? So these are common naman, very common data that we need. Siguro the better is you have to define your KPIs. You have to define your KPI. So you won't be uh, evaluating what is the best talaga, no? Best data depends on your system din. Mm.
Thank you, Mr. Apas. So I just wanna do a knowledge check as well, no? So for everyone here, I just wanna know, can you please share with the team what is one thing that you have learned from this webinar? Like what's your favorite part? Like your aha moment? Anyone can just grab the mic, please. Please state your name and your company so everyone will know you. Thank you. Anyone? Do we have a brave soul to share their um, best part of the key takeaway? I think there's none. Okay, I will just get one last question. So, in your experience, what is the best approach in implementing asset management, having a dedicated asset management department to embedded the asset management implementation per department?
Okay, from my experience, so the best approach is not to make asset management the responsibility of one department. It should be embedded across the whole organization because uh, la- like what we discussed or what I've discussed later kanina, every function influences how assets deliver value. So operations, maintenance, engineering. Okay, so some companies they have this asset management group solely for leading the asset management process. But we still have to work together, all organizations. So there should be someone from each department who is responsible also for the asset management, not just one group. It will not work because one, ang mindset mo is ba't ako magpa-participate diyan? Hindi ko naman alam kung ano yung purpose niyan. But if you have one at least one representative from all group, if it's a cross functioning team, then it's better that way. Instead of making it a responsibility of one department, because in my experience, uh, if my group na sige you do the asset management and then you want to provide data or gusto mong humingi ng data sa isang isang department, no? And you need it next week. Sasabihin nun, oh, it's not our priority. You will get the data next month when we're not busy. Okay? So that's a problem if there's only one department. It should be cross-functional, everyone. And dapat may leader na will tell you na you have to do this. You have to do things to make our asset management process effective. If you use one department lang, maraming conflict from experience.
Thank you, Sir Adrian. I'm just gonna give last na po ito. This is from the registrants. How can organizations begin implementing ISO 55,000 asset management principles if they currently have no formal asset management system? This is actually from Ronel Siason, Metro Pacific Iloilo Water Incorporated. So
I think this question na-answer na siya sa presentation natin. But maybe I would begin by creating a small asset management champion team. Like I said nung last question, it's really hard if only one department lang. So you create an asset management team. It should be a cross-functional group from operations, maintenance, engineering, finance, lahat. And then you should have a leader from your group. And then what you do is you start applying the four fundamentals that we discussed. No, you define the value. What do we need our assets to deliver? Okay, you create alignment. Make sure that asset decisions are connected to business objectives. No, not just departmental. Third is you present it to your leaders. No, so your leaders can remove the barriers like budget. No, they can assign accountability. And fourth is assurance. You need to measure whether your actions are really working. Well, just simple KPIs like downtime, availability, maintenance cost. You don't have to start big, as I've said. You can start small. You choose a group of critical assets first, like a production line or say a transformer or a compressor, and then you review how those assets are operated, how are they maintained, what's your replacement process, no, how are they monitored, and then you identify the gaps. Then you assign owners. Maybe you can improve the process, you can track the results. So the key message here is do not let the lack of budget or because you don't have a certification stop you from starting. The certification can come later na. Because when you start then, there are a lot of low-hanging fruits na you can use to justify that what you are doing is really creating value for your company. And if you present it to management, they see na it's working, then there's no reason for them na hindi support yung ano nyo, yung asset management nyo. So yeah, don't just start small. Don't start na yung in your mind is I can change the culture of our company in 1 month. No, it doesn't work that way.
okay. Thank you if to every participant who sent their questions through our chats and to Mr. Apas for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. So now we want to introduce the extension of future opportunities about reliability with our partner organization, Erudite Reliability Services and APMD. So in behalf of the Association of Maintenance and Reliability Practitioners of the Philippines and Mr. Vince Bernal, the president of AMRPP, I would like to personally invite you to join us on July 21st of our 4th General Membership Meeting and Fellowship Night. So this gathering is more than just a meeting. It is an opportunity to connect with industry peers, exchange ideas, learn from one another, and strengthen the growing community of the operational sustainability across the Philippines. So whether you're an engineer, maintenance practitioner, reliability professional, asset manager, consultant, educator, service provider, or even industry leader, this event is designed to help expand your network, discover new opportunities, and be part of meaningful conversations that shape the future of our profession. And after the formal program, stay with us for our fellowship night, where members and guests can build friendships, celebrate successes, and enjoy a relaxed evening with fellow practitioners who share the same passion for excellence. So now, if you are not yet a member of AMRPP, this is the perfect time to join our growing professional community. So for professionals and practitioners, we invite you to become an individual member and gain access to learning opportunities, industry resources, networking events, certifications, and opportunities to contribute to industry best practices. Now, for also our senior leaders, executives, and decision makers, we encourage you to explore our executive membership, wherein it's designed for professionals who wish to help shape the direction of profession while connecting with fellow membership leaders and influencers. And last but not the least, for organizations that provide products, technologies, services supporting maintenance, reliability, asset management, and integrity management, we welcome you as a supplier member, giving your organization opportunities to engage directly with practitioners, support industry development, and build meaningful business relationships. But wait, there's more. We do have an ongoing promotion wherein you can get 50% off from the original price. And this is just a limited time offer. Okay? So now, when you sign up today, you will be able to join our APM Lead Conference for the fellowship night. And if you'd like to grow, to become a part of our growing community of maintenance, reliability, and asset management professionals, this is the perfect opportunity. And our team will share the registration details and promo mechanics in the chat box. Together, we can elevate practice of maintenance, reliability, and asset management in the Philippines. So please, everyone, mark your calendars on the 21st of July for the 4th General Membership Meeting and Fellowship Night. All right? And at this time, we are very pleased to present this certificate of appreciation to our speaker in recognition of your valuable time, expertise, and meaningful insights that you shared us with today. So I'd like again to call on Mr. Engineer Adrian Ray Apas. So this certificate of appreciation is presented to Engineer Adrian Ray Apas in grateful recognition of your invaluable contribution as a resource speaker during the webinar entitled Asset Management Fundamentals, held on July 3rd, 2026, conducted by the Association of Maintenance and Reliability Practitioners of the Philippines. So may I request to do a photo op for this certificate. Let's give Sir Adrian a round of applause, everyone. Thank you. So Sir Adrian, smile ka naman po dyan, no? I will count 1 to 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, thank you. And so by the way, we would also appreciate it to take a few minutes to our participants today who attended the webinar to answer our evaluation form. Your feedback will help us improve and create even better learning experiences in the future. So there's the QR code. You can screenshot or please scan the QR code and please answer the evaluation. Thank you. So also, to stay updated on our upcoming programs, events, and industry insights, be sure to follow the official AMRPP social media pages. Okay. And also, don't forget to follow APM Lead social media pages as well as for the latest conference updates, announcement, and exciting activities. So we look forward to seeing you again at our future events. Again, I am inviting everyone to join our upcoming APM Lead conference this coming 21st of July to 2026 at Space One Ayala, Makati City, Philippines. So please feel free to reach out to our sales account associates or to me or even to our Facebook and website so you can join and register. So there you have it. Once again, thank you everyone who participated in today's webinar. And we hope today's discussion provided valuable insights into how reliability and maintenance performance influence operational excellence and business performance and long-term competitiveness. So we sincerely appreciate your time and participation. On behalf of AMRPP, and with our partnered organization, Erudite Reliability Services OPC and APM Lead, thank you once again from the bottom of our hearts, and we hope to see you in our future webinars and training programs. So now I have just one last request for everyone. Can we please turn on our cameras for our photo ops? Thank you. Let's put faces on those names. Come on. There you go. Yeah. Wow, ang daming gwapo at pogi pala dito, no? Thank you, thank you. So let me know when you are ready. Naka-open na po ba lahat ng camera? Okay. So let's smile. I'll count 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. All right. So there you have it. There you go. So I think we're now all set. All the certificates will be sent to your email to your email addresses. So please make sure that you leave it here sa chat box po kung hindi po nakapag-register. And again, thank you for attending our webinar. So see you very soon and happy Friday. Bye everyone. See you in our next webinar.